Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. War. Today we're going to be looking at word problems, and I have three types of word problems that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at how do you write equations and inequalities in one variable, systems of equations, and in the last one, interpreting expressions. Now, many of these questions, I am told by students, usually appear in part of the Tasc test where you cannot use a calculator. A lot of students do not like these questions. However, the best thing about them, you don't actually have to write the equation. You have to pick the correct equation. So thank God it's multiple choice. So in the first one where we're going to be writing equations and inequalities, we have that Carlisa. So we have Carlisa. She saved $1,400 to buy a car. Now all together she needs $5,000. So she wants this car in total, and they said all together she needs $5,000. So that's going to equal $5,000. Now when you look at the answer choices, we can eliminate A because notice that equals 6,400. Here's a strategy to use on the Tasc test. If you go in and you don't know how to solve the problem and you look at your answer choices and you see that 3 of them equals 5,000 and the fourth one equals a different number, I would suggest you eliminate that. That is not your answer. The examiners know that when students are unable to solve a problem, what they do is they look at what numbers are given in the problem and they either add them together or subtract them. If you take 5,000 and add it to 1,400, you're going to get 6,400. The question goes on to say her plan is to save money each month for 1 year to save the rest of the money she needs. So she doesn't have all the money, but she's planning on saving money each month. Which of the following equations could be used to determine how much money per month M Carlisa needs to save? We know she's going to be saving this money in a year. She's going to be saving each month. Now, how many months are in the year? 12. And we don't know how much money she's going to be saving, so we'll call that M. So your equation is going to have a 12M. So we can eliminate B. So now we're down to 50%. Our answer is either C or D. Now here comes the 1,400. Now remember, all together she needs $5,000. So would you add the 1,400 or would you subtract the 1,400? Correct? You would add the $1,400 because remember, all together she needs to have $5,000 if she wants to buy the car. So your answer is C. Let's look at the second question. It says during a sale, a couch that cost $1,200 is being sold at a discount for $900. Which equation can be used to find the rate of discount D during the sale? It's being sold, so you see the is here. That means equals for 900. I'm looking for an equation that says equal 900. Again, notice there are 3 here that equals 900, and here's a third one, well, the fourth one I must say, which is equaling 300. Now think about it. If you take 1,200 and minus 900, would you get 300? Yes. So again, if you didn't know which one of these was the correct answer, you could eliminate C. My answer is either A, B, or D. Now we're talking about a sale. And usually when you have a sale, you take a % off the original price. So whatever the original price, and we know it's 1,200, we're going to have to multiply that by the discount. And then you subtract that value from the original price, which we know is 1,200. So the answer we're looking for is this one. And this is shown in A. Crystal bought X boxes of cookies to bring to a party. Each box contains 12 cookies. She decided to keep 2 boxes for herself. She brings 60 cookies to the party. Which equation can be used to find the number of boxes X Crystal bought? Now, this problem you have to read carefully. Notice they're talking about cookies and yet they're talking about boxes. So we see the 60 and answer choices A, B, C, and D have the 60. We can't eliminate any one as yet. So we know it equals to 60. Everything in this equation is going to be written in terms of cookies rather than boxes. So we know that each box contains 12 cookies, but we don't know how many boxes Crystal bought. So we're going to call that 12x, which means I can eliminate A and I can eliminate, and I'm going to eliminate D because the 12x has to be first because she brought a lot of these boxes to the party. It went on to say she decides to keep 2 boxes. So this is where students make mistakes because some students like to tell me it's going to -2. Remember, 12 is cookies, 60 is cookies, this 2 is boxes. Something is wrong. So you have to change this 2 boxes into cookies, which means you have to times by 12. So the answer we're looking for is 12x minus 24 equals 60. Answer is C. Many of my students choose B as the answer, and I have to remind them that the units in the equation must be the same. You can't have cookies, boxes, and cookies. You have to have cookies, cookies, cookies. The last one in this section says your brother has $3,000 saved for a 10-day vacation. His airplane ticket costs $820. Which of the following inequalities could be used to find the average amount of money he can spend each day on his vacation X? Well, how long is his vacation? 10 days, and we want to find the average amount of money, so that would be 10x. Okay, that does not help us because all the answer choices have 10x. Also, the ticket costs $820. So that $820 is also included, or you could say also being taken from the $3,000. So we're going to add the $820 so we can eliminate C and D. Now, to get the correct answer, we have to choose the correct inequality. Would it be greater than or equals, or would it be less than or equals? Remember, your brother saved $3,000. That's all the money he has to spend. That is the maximum amount of money. And after you take the airplane money from the ticket, whatever left, he has to spend that, and he has to spend a certain amount each day. Now, if you only have 3,000, it means that you should choose the inequality sign less than or equals because you can't go over. The maximum amount of money you have is $3,000. So your answer is B. The next type of equations or systems of equations, a lot of students do not like these problems because it means you have to be able to write 2 equations. However, I find these very simple because there's always one equation you can figure out, and then from there you can start to eliminate those incorrect choices. So the first one says Justin J worked 5 hours longer this week than Andy A. So that one is kind of difficult for students to think about, okay, how would I write that? So if you go on to the next sentence, it says they worked a total of 59 hours. Now, who is the they? The they is Justin and Andy. And total means add. And together, they worked 59 hours. One of our equations must be J plus A equals 59. Possible answer is A. Possible answer is B. This is J minus A, so let's eliminate. And this is J minus A, so you can eliminate. Now you have either A or B is your answer. So we're going to go back to the first sentence, which says Justin J. So there's your J. Now that word worked is a verb. Now any verb you have that they include in any sentence would represent an equal sign. Most of the time folks are accustomed to the word is from the verb to be, but they can use other verbs. So worked, I understand, is a verb, so that would be equals. So my answer should start with J equals. So remember, I didn't put anything else. I know it's going to be J equals. When I look at A, notice it says A equals. So I could eliminate that. My answer is B, and I didn't even have to finish it. But if I did finish it, it says 5 hours longer this week than Andy. So this section here, than Andy, A, that's going to be first. So the A would be first because of the word than. Longer means add. And how many hours longer? 5. So that's where they get the A plus 5. Let's look at the second one. It says a ribbon 56 centimeters long is. Now again, is means equals. So you got 56 equals, and then it says it's cut into 2 pieces. These 2 pieces, when you join them together, will give you 56. So notice that the variables they're using here, x plus y. So you're looking for x plus y equals to 56. So let's start eliminating those incorrect answers. So my answer could be A. I'm going to eliminate B. My answer could be C. And I can eliminate D. I have 2 answers. Let's go on. Now it says one of the pieces is, so you see equals, and this is where this gets a little bit confusing for students because in the question, it doesn't tell us which variable represents the long piece and which variable represents the short piece. But all it says, one of the pieces is, and then it says 3 times longer than the other. Now I know 3 times means 3 and you have to multiply. So I'm just going to put some parentheses here. So you have to take the 3 and multiply it by whichever piece. I'm going to go here and I'm going to look. Now A has a 3 times an X. And if I go to C, that has a plus 3. So times means multiplication. So I'm going to eliminate C and my answer is A. So they're assuming that Y is the longer piece and this is 3 times longer than the other, which is the other piece X. So Y equals to 3X. The last one here, we have Joey J. So you have the J, 8. Now 8 is a verb, equals 13 more hot dogs than Kabashi K. So again, you see that than Kabashi, which tells you that the K is first, more means to add, and then you have 13. So one of my equations should be J equals K plus 13. So this says J equals K minus, so we could eliminate that. This says K, okay, so we can eliminate that. This has a J, but it just equals 13. Could eliminate that. So our answer is D. The next one, it says together they, who's the they? Joey plus Kabashi. because it says together. 8 is another verb, so that's equals 125. And there's your second part. Finally, in this last section, we're going to go to interpreting expressions. Again, this is just all reading skills. So it says the formula C equals pi d is used to find the circumference of a circle where d represents the diameter of a circle. Which interpretation of pi d is correct? So I see pi d. Now you have to ask yourself, what operation is going on between the pi and the diameter? Now we all know that's multiplication. So let's start reading our answer choices. The circumference of a circle is double pi. We can eliminate that. That d does not mean double. That d represents diameter. To find the circumference of a circle, add pi. Now there's no addition here, so we can eliminate b. The circumference of a circle is equal to pi times, yes, pi is multiplying the diameter, so our answer is C. The second one, the expression y plus 5, and then in the parentheses, 2x plus 5 minus 25 can be used to model the steps of a card trick where 2 playing cards are chosen. They go on to say here x represents the first card chosen, y represents the second card chosen. And the question, which they always starts with a W, which interpretation of the expression correctly identifies the first step of the card trick after the first card is chosen? They want you to identify the first step of the card trick after the first card is chosen. So who is the first card? That would be X. So we're looking at right here inside of the parentheses. Notice this is 2 multiplied by X and then you add 5. So let's read our answer choices. The first one says double the value of the first card chosen and then add 5 to that amount. Yes, that is your answer. Double is the same thing as if you multiplied by 2. But if you didn't know that, you could have kind of skipped that because you're like, I'm not too sure, and go down the answer choices to see which one made sense. B says multiply the value of the first card chosen by 7. I don't see that. X is the first card and you're multiplying by 2. Multiply the value of the first card chosen by 5 and then add 5. Remember, it's 2x, so you're multiplying by 2 and not 5. And the last one says subtract 25. Notice in my highlight, there's no subtraction in there, so you could exclude D. Final question. At the gym, Latrell can burn 6 calories per minute on the treadmill, 5 calories per minute using an exercise bike. If T represents the number of minutes Latrell spends on the treadmill, so T would be for here. And then B represents the number of minutes Latrell spends on the exercise bike. Which expression represents, so again, here's our question starting with that famous W, represents, and here's the key word, the greatest number of calories Latrell can burn at the gym if he only has 45 minutes to spend at the gym. What equipment would you choose? Treadmill or exercise bike? I would choose the treadmill because you're getting 6 calories per minute. So that would be 6T. So my answer is going to be A. I hope this was helpful. Again, we're trying to do math every day, and even if you're working and studying for the Tasc test, you can watch these videos. They're not very long. and try to understand what math is being used in the algebra section so that you can reach your goal and pass the Tasc mathematics test. As always, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, share, and also comment. And if you've been watching the videos and taken your Tasc test and passed, please just drop that in the comments to encourage anyone else who are watching these videos, to motivate them to keep going, because we only have 2 months before the Tasc test is phased out of New York State. As always, have a great day and good luck on your Tasc examination.